The Oklahoma City Thunder just won the NBA title, and they did it while being the second youngest team in finals history, averaging just 25.6 years of age. That's the kind of thing that usually screams underdog story, the kind of team that just surprises everyone, makes a little run, and then simply runs out of steam. But no, that wasn't the case for OKC. They didn't sneak into this thing. They stormed their way right through the Western Conference and took the whole thing. And even now, after lifting the trophy, it still kind of feels like it's far too early for this Thunder team to have already reached the mountaintop. They're ahead of schedule, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he was already there. And this finals series made that very clear. People had legit questions about whether or not the experience, the nerves, and the polish from this Thunder team was really there to be able to stand up in a game like a finals game 7. But really, we should have been asking, does Shai have all those traits? Because he answered that question in the loudest way possible. What he did this season wasn't just good, it was historic. He became just the 4th player in NBA history to win the scoring title, regular season MVP, and finals MVP all in the same year. The only other names on that list are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, and now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's incredible company. I mean, think about that. Neither LeBron James or Steph Curry have been able to achieve this feat. But even that doesn't fully explain how ridiculous this year was from Shai. I mean, look at the resume as a whole. All-Star, All-NBA selection, scoring champ, MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, NBA Finals MVP, and a champion, all in the span of just one season. That's the kind of resume, the kind of full-length career that a player dreams of. However, Shai did it in just 12 months, and the team around him just as legit. OKC finished 1st in net rating, which was actually the 2nd highest net rating in the history of the league, plus the number 1 defense and the 3rd overall offense. So yeah, the numbers back up what we've all watched with our own eyes. This team was historically dominant, and with SGA front and center, they won 84 games in total, regular season and playoffs, something that was only topped by one team in NBA history, the 1996 Chicago Bulls, led by Michael Jordan. Shai also scored over 3,100 points this season, which is the most anybody scored in a single season since, again, Michael Jordan. And the first 2 games in the finals in particular, Shai dropped 72 points, breaking Allen Iverson's 2001 finals record of 71 for the most points in your first 2 NBA finals games. This guy's not just in the conversation, he might be making his own. But honestly, what stood out even more than just the stats was the way Shai responded when things got tough. Indiana came at them hard in these finals, and Game 6 was particularly rough, like really rough. SGA had just 21 points, only 2 assists, and turned it over 8 times. You could tell he was just pressing, trying to do too much, forcing plays that weren't there, and it really looked like the moment was finally getting to him. So heading into Game 7, the question was, could he adjust? Could he slow down, read the floor better, and make plays for others instead of trying to carry it all on his own back? And man, did he ever answer the call. He came out in Game 7 and played one of the smartest, cleanest games of his life. 12 assists with just 1 turnover. Complete control. Night and day compared to his 2 assists and 8 turnovers just the game prior, as he completely flipped the script in just 2 days. We all know SGA as an elite scorer. That's really never been a debate. But what makes this moment so much more exciting is that maybe that Game 7 was a glimpse into the next step of what he could become. The kind of leap that could turn him into a true all-time great superstar. The playmaking, the poise, and the leadership all came together when it mattered the most. And for me, the playmaking aspect of his game is something I'd love to see him improve on next season. Because when you look back at a guy like James Harden and a Kobe Bryant, guys cut from a similar cloth, it was their ability to read and anticipate what the defense is going to do that made it so difficult to send consistent help to them without getting punished. But with Shai, he seems to be a lot more reactive, only looking to pass when he's not able to score. But if SGA could be a little bit more proactive instead of reactive, with that could potentially take Oklahoma City's offense to a completely new level next season. But really, if he's able to turn into this playmaking mixed with elite scoring machine under the brightest of spotlights, an NBA Finals Game 7, the future of Oklahoma City is super scary. Now, despite the historical season he just had, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still faces a surprising amount of hate. Every day, it seems like someone is trying to tear down what he's done. And the loudest criticism is always the same thing. He's just a free throw merchant, that he relies too heavily on getting to the line, and that he plays unethical hoops, baiting defenders into fouls rather than beating them with skill. But here's the thing, in my opinion, that criticism simply does not hold up when you actually look at the facts. Richard Jefferson laid this out perfectly, and it wasn't an opinion, it was pure stats. If you took away every single free throw a player has shot this season, Shai would still lead the NBA in total points. Think about that. Even with 0 trips to the line, he was still the league's best scorer. So the idea that his game hinges completely on free throws is just false. Yes, he's really good at getting to the line, no doubt, because he's so good at manipulating the defense. But it's not the foundation of his scoring. It's just another tool in an already deep offensive bag. And yet, people still push back, saying it's not the free throws, it's how he gets them. It's called foul baiting. People think his trips to the line are cheap, but this isn't some new trend that he brought in. Go back and watch Dwayne Wade or Kobe Bryant, 2 all-time great players who regularly used pump fakes, footwork, and body control to draw contact, manipulating the defense to get to the line. When Kobe did it, no one had an issue. But now that Shai's doing it, it's all of a sudden unethical. As let's be honest, it's really no coincidence that Shai's game is so similar to Kobe. From the footwork to the fadeaways and the way he gets to his spots, it's clear he grew up studying the game of Kobe Bryant. So it's really a stretch to think that he only learned how to draw fouls by making it up in his own head. It's part of the craft. It's a part of what makes great scorers so difficult to stop. They don't just shoot. They manipulate, they outthink defenders, and they force mistakes. Foul baiting isn't just ruining basketball, it really is basketball. And if a defender bites on a pump fake or lunges into a reach, then that's not the scorer's fault. That's just bad defense. So the idea that Shai doesn't deserve all these accolades because he gets to the line way too much is just a lazy, outdated narrative. And it completely ignores the fact that he just put together one of the best seasons we've ever seen, and could have done so without a single free throw. It's not just a fluke, he's not a stat padder, and he's not just getting by on the gimmicks. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is truly that guy. He just led the second youngest team to the finals while joining a laundry list of legends, and people are still nitpicking and not appreciating what we just witnessed. The fact of the matter is, a large group of people are missing out on the rise of the league's next superstar and a season that will be remembered by the rest of us forever. But like I mentioned earlier, as much as this championship was the crowning moment for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, this was never a one-man show. The Thunder won the title because they played as a team. And when it mattered the most, the other 2 pillars of the Thunder's big 3, Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, showed exactly why this core might be what defines the next era of basketball. SGA may have been the engine, but J-Dub and Chet were right there holding the framework together, delivering when the moment demanded it, and proving that they too were built for the moment. Jalen Williams, as I've said plenty of times, is one of the most underrated players in the league, as he's been a quiet killer since he arrived in Oklahoma City. He's the kind of player who can give you absolutely anything. He'll be your secondary playmaker, clamp down defensively, and then randomly give you 25 points in a game, just like it's nothing. He actually grew up playing the point guard position, and you can really see that with his poise and control with the reads he makes. He doesn't force things, and he keeps the ball moving when it gets stagnant, often running the point guard when Shai's out of the game. But then came Game 5, the kind of performance that truly builds a legacy. With the finals tied at 2 games apiece, it was Jalen Williams who went off for 40, swinging the series back in OKC's favor and setting the tone for what ultimately ultimately would result in a championship. That game didn't just save their season, it stamped his name right next to Shai's in NBA Finals history. And when you look at the numbers, it gets even scarier. Over these finals, J-Dub and SGA combined for 377 total points in the series, the second most by any duo in finals history. Only LeBron and Kyrie in 2016 scored more. So this young Thunder duo actually outscored Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in their highest scoring finals. That isn't just noise, it's all-time great. J-Dub looked like a modern day version of Scottie Pippen with his versatility on both sides of the ball, and the truth is, he's only just getting started because his development and evolution over the course of the whole season was night and day. Some of the things he was doing in these finals, some of the shots he was hitting, and some of the defensive plays he was making was simply stuff he wasn't doing at the start of this season, as he just continues to get better every single night. Then there's Chet Holmgren, the 7-footer with guard skills who defends like a seasoned anchor. Sure, there were a few moments where his offense was really not coming easy for him, especially in that Indiana series, but defensively, he was a monster. It's not an exaggeration to say his presence in the paint and his switchability was a top 3 reason as to why the Thunder won the chip. Midway through the finals, the Thunder made a clear adjustment, allowing Chet to switch more often to not put the rest of their defense in jeopardy, and it really changed everything. He was everywhere, contesting on the perimeter, rotating back inside, altering shots at the rim, and flying in for offensive rebounds, as Indiana never really found a way to solve him. And when you pair that mobility with his elite shot blocking instincts, he becomes nearly impossible to deal with. To put his finals impact into historical context, Chet Holmgren became the youngest player since Tim Duncan to record double-digit blocks in an NBA Finals series. And you could feel that presence every single game. But what made this even more insane is how he missed a ton of time this regular season with a fractured hip, and yet he was able to come out and do what he did all playoffs long on the defensive end for this Thunder team. Put all of this together, Shai's superstar leap, Jalen's all-around excellence, and Chet's defensive dominance, and Oklahoma City has a really strong foundation. Not just because they're good now, but because they're only getting started. Just think about what's coming. The Thunder just won an NBA championship as the second youngest finals team in history. Their entire rotation is under contract for next season. They have the reigning MVP of the finals and the regular season just entering his prime. They still have 32 draft picks through 2031 and the 6th most cap space in the league. That isn't just a formula for a single title. That's a warning shot. This wasn't just a miracle run. It's a potential preview of a dynasty. Alright, so the confetti's fallen and the OKC Thunder are officially champions. But now the biggest question is what is actually coming next? Are we really in dynasty territory? Or was this just one magical season where everything was able to come together perfectly? Honestly, it's so tough to know. We've seen this kind of thing before. Just last year, Boston finally got over the hump, and everybody thought they were about to take over the league for years to come. The roster was stacked, they looked built to win for many years, and everything seemed on track. Then out of nowhere, the wheels fell off. They encountered their worst shooting slump of the entire season in the first 2 games against the Knicks in round 2, dropping both at home, and then a brutal Achilles injury to Jason Tatum in game 4 completely derailed their whole season. Now, just a year later, they're staring at a tough financial situation and a timeline that might already be over. So yeah, it's easy to say that OKC are different. And maybe they are, but in today's NBA, absolutely nothing can be taken for granted, especially not with how the new CBA works. Although it wasn't designed this way, it's made it so much harder for great teams to want to stay together. And that's where things are going to get pretty tricky for the Thunder pretty quickly. SGA is already locked in with superstar money, $115 million guaranteed over the next few years. No problem there. Actually a pretty good contract. But Jalen Williams, he's still on the rookie deal right now, making under $7 million next season. And after this playoff run, he's pretty much guaranteed to get the max. Chet Holmgren is in a similar spot. One more year at just $13 million, and then he's due for a big payday as well. Just those 3 contracts alone would put OKC right up against the wall when it comes to the salary cap and the constraints of the second apron. But that's before you even factor in guys like Alex Caruso, whose deal is jumping up from a bargain of $9.8 million this season to $18 million next season, with $80 million still guaranteed through to 2029. So while yes, they've got everybody under contract for next season and can absolutely run it back, beyond that, it's going to get super complicated. Someone at some point might have to go, unless one of these guys is willing to take far less than their worth, which, let's be honest, almost never happens in the NBA. OKC is going to have to face some really tough calls far sooner than they're hoping for. That's just the price of being good. You win, and the system makes it harder to continue to do so. It's one of the reasons why this league feels so wide open at the moment. The Thunder just became the 7th different champion over the last 7 seasons, as no one's been able to repeat since Golden State back in 2018. With the way things are setting up, that streak might continue to go. Still, OKC has a shot to break it. With J-Dub and Chet still on rookie deals for one more season, they do have one more clean run where the core can stay intact and the books aren't a problem yet. They've got the belief, they have the chemistry, and now they've got the confidence that comes with already doing it before to really have a great chance of going back-to-back next season, as I believe the 2026 season might be the best chance to do so. But what do you guys think? Is this the start of something special in Oklahoma City, or was that the high point of a run we'll remember forever?